Hello Stitchy friends, welcome back to Bumble Stitches Flosstube. My name's Nicola and this is my Flosstube channel where I share all my cross stitching, sometimes some quilting and sewing with you all, and a very warm welcome to everybody. I know there's been quite a few new subscribers lately, and of course all the lovely subscribers that return every episode to come and see what I've been up to. A big thank you also for your comments and your likes, obviously for your subscribes, and a very special thank you to those of you who have supported my channel through the coffee, which is a virtual buy me a coffee link that I have in the description box below, and that's just to help me out with postage for giveaways that I offer on this channel, because I do like to keep them international so that everybody gets a chance of winning. Well, I hope you are all well and happy since I saw you last. That may have been only yesterday if you've been watching my Twixtmas videos, but it has been about a month since my last full Flosstube episode. We had a very quiet Christmas and New Year, just the way we like it. Lots of lovely food. I did fall off my diet wagon badly. Yes, I'm dreading to see what the damage is, but I had a lovely time and it was just nice to kick back and relax with the family and eat some lovely food and just chill out and make the most of a lovely rest. I really enjoy the Christmas holidays particularly. So I just wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping before I get on with the stuff that I've got to share with you today, and I've got quite a lot of things to share, so I will probably need to keep it quite short and snappy in showing you things. But yes, some housekeeping first. On my last episode, which was Flosstube number 26, I had some giveaways, and I am still waiting to hear from 2 winners. So if you are Hazel Grant, you were the winner of this Merry Chalkfall pattern. If you could get in touch with me, Hazel, so that I can get your prize off to you as soon as possible. And even more, let me just pop that note back in there so we don't lose it. And even more time sensitive, because this is the Laurie Holt planner that was kindly given to me. I received 2, so I have a planner, and Fat Quarter Shop also generously gave an extra copy of Laurie Holt's Be In My Bonnet planner for 2022, which you will need to be using now. And the winner of this was Rachel Hyde. So Rachel, please get in touch with me. My email is in the description box below, so that I can get this on its way to you so that you can start planning your year. With both of those prizes, if I haven't heard from Rachel or Hazel by the next Flosstube episode, which will be in 2 weeks' time, then I will redraw them, so please do get in touch. Whilst we're still on the housekeeping items, a big apology if you have emailed me over the past couple of months really. I've just recently discovered that my Gmail account has been dumping an awful lot of emails into the junk folder, and whilst doing a bit of a spring clean of it over the holidays, I've found lots of things that need attention, so apologies for that. I will be getting onto it hopefully tomorrow, and replying to those emails. I know a couple of them were about unicorn charts and things like that, so yeah, again, apologies. It's just sort of come to light that I've missed quite a few of those, so I will be getting that addressed really quickly for you. Okay, well, I have been binging lots of Flosstubes and whip parades over the past few days, as I'm sure a lot of you have too, and this is just a little answer to a question that Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, Liz, asked when she was doing her whip parade. She showed a whip and she said she thought I'd started this whip too and wondered how I was getting on. And as I was going through my whips the other day, because I did a little bit of a cull, I found it, and I just thought I would show Liz, this is for you. This is the Hands Across the Sea Where Flowers Bloom chart. We both started this. Liz has actually done a little bit more than I have. You can see it's a really pretty chart. We both splurged and bought the Soie d'Alger silks that were called for. I've just got mine in this little box so they don't get damaged, and I'm just going to show you my progress, and it is laughable. So I've got a lovely piece of linen from, I think I got it from Hoop and Frame. It's a, I think it's a legacy linen, and that was my start, Liz. So yes, I did start it, but only just. But it's one that's a keeper, and I will be popping this back into my stitchy plans for this year. So let's pop that one back, and then I'm going to share with you a fully finished object and a finished object. And those of you who are regular viewers, I'm having a struggle getting this back in the bag. Those of you who are regular viewers will know that I'm very good at starting things, not quite as good at finishing and fully finishing things. So I'm going to pop that in the basket down there. So the FFO that I have, and if you watch Twixmas, you will have seen this adorable little project, and I did a little finishing video, and that is the Gingerbread Man tart tin. And you can see it's a really super cute little finished. I finished it in as a tart. I just picked this little tin up on eBay. It's one of the little loose bottom kind. And this was a freebie by Paola of Puntini Puntini. And if you want the link to the freebie, check out my Twixmas video. It does say a tart finish in the video description, the title, so you'll be able to find it. But I was super pleased with that. And although a little late in the Christmas season, I thought I would get it done. It's lived on the tiered tray in the dining room for a few days, having its moment of glory before being packed away. And that is all happening this afternoon. When I finish this video, I'm packing away Christmas, which is a bit sad. Justin got all the boxes down from the loft yesterday, the Christmas tree box and the decoration boxes. And yeah, it's time to say goodbye to all the pretty lights and all the pretty things, which, yeah, I like. It's a twofold thing for me. I love to get everything nice and clean and clear and have a good dust and clean the house again after the Christmas decorations have gone away. But you do miss that sort of coziness of all the pretty lights. So yeah, it's a little bit of a sad day, but all my stitchy things will go in a separate container, like a plastic sort of box with a lid, and I keep them in the craft room under the spare bed, just so that I know they're not up in the loft, so I don't want spiders and things getting to them. So that was my FFO, and I do have an FO, and I have been trying to not stitch monogamously, because I know that will never happen for me, but I've been trying to pay more attention to one project at a time, even if it's just for, you know, a few days. And it's amazing what you can get done when you don't keep skipping between projects. I've learnt this, and it's really netted some results. So I have completed my Peppermint Pals, which is a design by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. Let me pop him up a little bit closer. I've even completed all the back stitch on the little bits of greenery that he has. For some reason he has them poking out of his dungarees. I think that might be a little bit uncomfortable. And some in the little snowman bucket that he's carrying. And I was even very #mature and did the French knots as well. And I'm thrilled with how this has turned out. I used all the that's the chart there, Peppermint Pals. And I'm just throwing things in a basket down here to try and make it clean up easier once I'm finished. I used all the called for threads for this, which are from Weeks and Gentle Arts and Classic Colourworks. So all the called for, and I'm really thrilled with how he has turned out. I stitched on a 32 count linen. I can't remember the name of the linen. It's a pale blue, as you can see, and I got it from Hazel of Foxglove and Lace Linen, and I couldn't be happier with this. I'm going to try and attempt to get this finished so that I can put it away with the decorations ready to come out next year. Maybe tomorrow I might get a chance. I'm just going to finish it as a pillow. But I am super, super pleased with that, and it's so nice to get a Christmas project started and finished all in the same season. That's pretty much a first for me. So that's my finished object. That can go away. I found that I used to keep my stitchy basket in the lounge with me, and excuse me while I just pop these down there, and I found that I had too many choices. So I would start stitching on something, maybe stitch for an hour, and then think, oh actually I think I have a little stitch on that, so out of the basket would come the next project, and it was just getting lots of little bits of work done on lots of projects. But in an effort to try and be a little bit more focused, I decided to leave my basket in the sewing room and just take one project bag into the lounge with me. And once I've settled down for the evening, then I know it sounds really lazy, but I can't be bothered to get up and go to the craft room or the sewing room and pick something else out. I just stitch on what I have in the lounge, and that's why Peppermint Pals got finished. So I think I'm going to be sticking with that really simple fix just to keep me more focused, because if I'd have kept everything in to hand, that project wouldn't be finished. So I think that's definitely something for me to learn by. Okay, I'm just going to check my notes because I've got quite a few things here that I wanted to share with you today. I mentioned obviously trying to be a bit more focused, and I'm going to try and have some sort of rotation for my stitching for this year going forward. I have so many beautiful whips that I really want to get done. I know I'm not naive. I know there will be lots of tempting new charts and things to just really distract me along the way. Squirrels, that's what they are. They will distract me, I know that. But I think if I at least start with a plan, then I'm more likely to achieve some real results this year. So with that in mind, I have decided to make a note in my planner at the beginning of each month of projects that I would like to work on. So each one will be for approximately 5 days, and then I'll switch, and I'm going to try and include some of the sort of like monthly, the monthly part patterns, things like Prim Stitch series, Anniversaries of the Heart, things like that I'm working on. And then as the days crop up where I'm taking part in stitch alongs and things like that, I will just add those in on those days. So that is the plan. Okay, so let me show you some of the things that I have got in my rotation. I'm just checking on my notes to make sure I've got everything here. Excuse me while I lean. And some of these things are going to, some of these sections that I've planned for today's episode are going to kind of cross over. There's a lot of intermingling between the parts. So yeah, I'll just refer back to things as and when we come to them. Okay, so the first thing that is in the rotation for January is in this little bag here, and this is my Prim Stitch series by Lori Holt. And if I grab it out, I was going great guns on this last year and then completely fell off the wagon and stopped stitching on it, which is such a shame because I love this project. So let me just pop it on the board so I can show you where we are up to. Okay, can we see that all right? I had a little clip here somewhere and I don't know what I've done with it now. Here we go. Let's pop that on there like that. Right, so this is Prim Stitch series by Lori Holt of Bee in My Bonnet. It is in 12 parts. You can stitch it obviously individually, or you can stitch it as a complete piece, which is what I chose to do. Apologies for this being a little bit wrinkled in the middle. and you can see I went great guns and then got as far as part 6, and this is the bit that I picked up again last night after I finished Peppermint Pals. So the plan is to really get some progress on this project. I have a little quilty star to complete on this one that I missed out, so I need to go back to that. And the border on this is beautiful, as you can see, but it is a bit of a killer. There is a lot of stitching in that border, so I need to yeah, stop being lazy and actually do fill some of the borders in, and not just keep getting to the good bits, doing the actual blocks themselves. So that's in my rotation for January, and I'm really enjoying having it out again because it's like it's all brand new again, which is lovely. I'm stitching this with all the called for Aurifil flosses. That's the chart for this month. So I'm very nearly done on this one, and then I can move on to part 7. I'm just going to pop that back in the bag. And I've just popped, this is just a little bag that Lilli gave me with some Christmas gifts in a little velvet bag. And in here I'm just keeping, it's a bit of a jumble, but I've just taken out all the Aurifil flosses for that particular chart. They're on the spools, and I just keep them in there, and then when I move on to the next one I'll just pop these back in the box and grab the next lot that I need. So that's Prim. And the next project that I have for January rotation is my Anniversaries of the Heart. And again, this hasn't seen love in a long while. In fact, it's probably not even talking to me anymore. I'm using a combination of called for and some substitutions where the called fors were a little bit out on the from the original model, because it's quite an old series. I think it goes back to about 2012. I'll show you the pattern that I'm working on at the moment, which is it's pattern 4, which is Pink Hill Manor. As you can see, beautiful Blackbird Designs colour palette, absolutely stunning. If you need to see an example of this project stitched in its entirety, do check out Olivia of Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, either on her Flosstube or on her Instagram, because she completed hers and it is absolutely stunning. Again, I haven't ironed this, I do apologise, but you'll see how far I got. So I did obviously the January, which is the Snow Garden. February, I can't remember the name of the block. This is a bonus block. This one for March I was doing for Justin, and this area here is where there's quite a lot of 1/1 text, which I'm saving for a brave day, and that's my progress on block 4, which would be April. So in 5 days time I will switch to this, and hopefully my goal is to at least get this block finished and the next one started. And these monthly parts, Anniversaries of the Heart and Prim, are going to be, they're going to be coming out every month until they are finished. My goal is to get both of these finished this coming year, or this year. It's not this coming year, is it? It's this year. So let's pop this one back in the bag as well. And if you're stitching on any similar sort of projects that are monthly parts, do let me know in the comments so that I know what you are stitching on, because there are some beautiful charts out there. I know Country Cottage Needleworks have done quite a few. Obviously the Blackbird Designs have got quite a few series. So yeah, do share what you're stitching on too. The next project in my rotation for this month is living in this lovely bag that was sent to me by Tracy of Oh So Twinkle Crafts, I believe, and this is very much a companion piece of Peppermint Pals, although completely a different season. And this is Harrietta & Co. Show you the chart there. Another Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. So as you can see, whilst Peppermint Pals is the snowman holding his little snowman bucket, this is the gorgeous little Harrietta in her little, she's got a little pinafore dress and she's holding her little bunny basket for Easter. Progress on this is not great, and this is exactly why she's coming out to play, hopefully to enable me to have some kind of finish for Easter time or springtime. So that's my progress there. And this linen, I can't remember the linen I'm using for this. I don't know if I've got a note in here. I don't. It certainly isn't the linen that's on the bag. But it's a 36 count, I know that much, and I'm stitching it one strand over two, and the fabric isn't as mottled as it looks in camera. It's actually quite a bit lighter than that. I think it's just the way the camera lens is picking it up. So Harrietta & Co, yeah, I've made a start. I need to get some stitches onto her, and I need to put these on a ring, and I know that I did borrow some eggshell, Classic Colourworks eggshell from this to finish off the snowman, so I'm hoping that I've got enough, because there's quite a lot. Mind you, I think it's just her body on that. I think the main part of her, excuse me while I'm just getting these flosses in some semblance of order so that I can show you. They're all the called for, and absolutely beautiful. The lovely soft yellow and the teals. They are absolutely gorgeous. And this is not a criticism, I'm just saying that in future, when I'm stitching a Brenda Gervais pattern like these smalls, that I'm going to be mindful of the usage of some of the colours of threads that are the called for. I know, for example, with Peppermint Pals, I bought a skein of the, I think it's Old Marigold, and it's only used on the cheeks. The Fragrant Cloves is the orange that's used for the noses on both the snowman faces, and that's the only time it appears. And I think really I could have just done those with some DMC that was close enough, because there's not really enough of that colour stitched into the project to sometimes warrant a whole skein, unless you've already got it in stash, which is fine, but to buy a skein of over-dyed floss. So just, you know, a thought that you can perhaps keep the cost down a little bit by substituting some DMC in where there are literally only a few stitches. The next thing in my rotation is actually, excuse me, my bra strap has gone for a little wander. This is part of a stitch along by Laurie Holt, and this is her 25th day sale. And the sale involved starting a new project on the 25th of December and then stitching on it every 25th day of the month thereafter. So I have made a start on my project, a very small start on Christmas Day. On Christmas Day all I managed literally was that line there, so I took the liberty of stitching on it, I think on Boxing Day and the day after, just to get a little bit more done on that house. And if you don't recognise it, it's Baby It's Cold Outside from Heartstring Samplery. So let me show you the chart. Oh, and I've just found the tag for Peppermint Pals. The fabric was 32 count iced blue. That was the one from Foxglove and Lace linen. Okay, so back to Baby It's Cold Outside. Not a new chart. This has been out for a couple of years. Yeah, I think it probably is at least a couple of years. So that's the chart there. Obviously it's got the lyrics from the song Baby It's Cold Outside. I just think this is a really nice wintry piece and doesn't necessarily have to go up or go back away when the Christmas decorations are down. I think it can stay out for the duration of winter. I'm using all the called for flosses. and I have substituted some DMC 712 in place of grits because I couldn't get it at the time of ordering my flosses. I think these are all Gentle Arts, and the red is the lovely pomegranate. I'm hoping there's going to be enough of that. So that's going to be my stitch for the 25th day sale, and I've popped it in my planner so I know that on the 25th I'm going to be stitching on that. And the fabric that I'm using, I wanted something that really looked like a dark sort of night with the snow falling down, and this is a Fibre on a Whim 32 count espresso, and I think it's going to look fabulous when it's all stitched up. So that's my new start, and a stitch along that I'm hoping to keep up with during the year. And there is one more thing that I wanted to share with you for my rotation for January, and I'm not exactly sure of the day that this starts. I think it's towards the end of January, and that's the Caterpillar cross stitch. How Does Your Garden Grow mystery stitch along. So I need to get a bag ready for this, a project bag ready. I need to get my fabric just zigzagged along the edges to stop it fraying, because I have gone for the linen option. So everything's all in the kit, ready to go, and it's all noted in my rotation for January. And I think that is everything that I have got planned for the month of January. There's one last thing. I'm just going to reach across. Do forgive me while I lean. And I need to pull some things along. Okay. I mentioned... Sorry, I'm having trouble with my hair sticking to my lip gloss, which is most annoying. I did mention I was going to be doing this chart as a wedding present for Justin. And now, being realistic, this is never going to happen in time. You can see it's quite a lot. The whole of this bottom section is pretty much full coverage. Although this alphabet and that will go quite quickly. And there's quite a lot of over one in there as well. So I'm going to be realistic. I know I'm not going to get this done, certainly not in time. Also, I don't really have the budget to, I'd like to stitch this in all the called for, and I don't really have the budget for the threads at the moment. So I'm going to put it on the back burner, but all is not lost, because I remembered that last year I had bought this, which is Love Notes by Brenda Gervais. So I thought I would stitch a couple of these little Valentine themed pillows instead. They do call for, I would think they call for over dyes. I haven't even had this out of the pack. So just have a quick look and see. I know that these designs normally call for over dyes, don't they? Actually, no, I'm completely wrong. It's all DMC, so that is fabulous. And I've probably got quite a few of those colours already. So I just need to buy a piece of fabric, and I'll be able to get some of these, a couple of these stitched up. I probably won't be too fussed about this particular one here or this one here, but this and this one in particular I think is really, really sweet. I do love the I Love You a Latte one, but it's particularly this one that I think I would definitely like to get that one stitched. So that's on my, that's in my plans as well. Okay, so let's pop that down. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to share with you is something new that I would like you to all join in with if you would like to. For 2022, I would like to start a Laurie Holt social. So a social, if you're not aware, a stitch along is a stitch along, as the name suggests. A social is, you can make anything as long as it's based, it's a Laurie Holt pattern, a quilt pattern, a sewing pattern, or a cross stitch pattern, then it is absolutely perfect. I'm going to run this social for the whole of this year, so I'll put a hashtag across the bottom of the screen. I'm calling it let's get this right, I'm calling it the Laurie Holt Social 2022. I did drop Laurie a message and let her know what I was planning to do, and if she thought that, if that was okay with her. And of course, being as gracious and generous as she is, she said yes, of course. So we got the green light, we're good to go. I'm sure, like me, you're big Laurie Holt fans. I have got a heap of things ready to go, already started, things like my Prim Stitch series. So I thought it would be really good fun to do this. I'd love you to share your photos on Instagram using the hashtag, and there will be, just randomly through the year, there will be some prizes pulled from Instagram. I know that not everybody that watches is on Instagram, but unfortunately I am just going to keep it on Instagram for sharing the hashtag of your projects, progress, finishes, preparations, anything for this social. So I thought I'd just show you what I've got lined up already, apart from my Prim Stitch series. And a lot of these, well, these are all whips actually. Well, the first thing that I've got, which is down here and is really heavy, living in this big bag, is my Sew by Row Block of the Month quilt. I've got the first few parts, so you can see I've got lots of all the buttons, and there's some fabric in there, embroidery floss, and I've got some background fabric. This is all from Fat Quarter Shop. This is that I bought myself. This wasn't a gift. And I've got some of my blocks of the month packs in here. I don't have the book handy to show you. You might be able to see just a tiny bit on the back there. I'm sure you're familiar with it. So that's obviously block 1 with the scissors. So I would like to make a start on this for the social and get that underway. So that's one, that will keep me busy. And then in these bags here, I've got some whips that I just like to quickly run through with you and show you some of the things that I've got lined up. So in here I have my snowballs for sale, which is this cross stitch pattern, and I've got some progress on this which I shared with you last episode. These are all in DMC threads. Oh, and to the kind viewer that commented she would help me out, I did manage to get the other green for that, so I'm all good to go. Let me find my board so I can show you my progress. And I have moved over. There's not a huge amount of progress since I showed it to you last time, but I have moved over onto the snowman himself and a little tiny bit of his scarf. And this was when I was still in my distracted squirrely stage, and it got put aside for Peppermint Pals, I believe. So that's one project that I'm going to be working on through the year, and I will work these into my sort of monthly rotation so that everything gets a fair chance to be stitched on. Pop these ones away, and the next is living in a little bag that I made with some of Laurie's fabric, and this is Flea Market Flowers. So I'm sure you're all familiar with this. Again, I had a really bad start on this, and I don't know why, because I absolutely love the project. I have all the DMC in here looking absolutely scrumptious, and this has barely been touched, and it is such a shame. And this is why I thought a social all year long is exactly what I need to spur me on, and that is my pitiful start on Flea Market Flowers. So I feel very inspired, and even if I just get one flower block done each month, then at least it will be getting stitched on, because at the moment it's just been chillaxing in its project bag and not really getting very far at all. So that's another one of my projects. And of course there are so many beautiful patterns from Lilli. Most of them, the cross stitch ones, are all published by It's So Emma, and there are some stitch alongs going on as well from Fat Quarter Shop, and you can feel absolutely free to double dip in both stitch alongs. Just add the extra hashtag on. It's the more the merrier. If you're working on the project, then please do share what you're doing on Instagram. The next one is living in this another Lilli Holt bag, not made by me. I bought this on Etsy from Patchwork Paw Print, and in here I have, there's another Prim. This one is Prim and Proper. Again, another beautiful design, and I did a bit better on this one. I'm stitching this on a 32 count. I think it's Petty Point Zweigart linen, and that's my progress on Prim and Proper. And it uses, I think it's charted for DMC and also for Orifloss, and it's exactly the same Orifloss colour range as the Prim Stitch series. But I did get a little bit concerned that I might run out of floss. I'm sure when I watched one of the Fat Quarter Shop Flosstubes that it was mentioned that there was enough to do this as well as Prim Stitch series, but I think I'm going to play it a little bit cautious. I mean, obviously I can order some more Orifloss, that's not a problem, but I think I might concentrate my efforts onto Prim Stitch series before worrying too much about this project. But I love the way it's stitching up on this fabric, and really want to see this as a finish at some point this year. So that's my next one. Pop that one away. And then finally, in this Lilli Holt fabric bag, and this is the, I can't remember the name of the chart, it's by Hands On Design, but I love it, and I chose flosses to match the bag. And in here I have my Sew by Row cross stitch, and this will give you a better idea of the quilt pattern, because the pattern for both is, I would say it's probably exactly the same. So that's the Sew by Row, and this one is, let me just get the pattern out. I got a little bit of progress on it again before the distractions all set in. And this I'm stitching on a 25 count Lugana, I believe it was the called for. Yeah, and it was the big sewing machines that obviously I got a bit fed up with the filling and decided to go off and do something else. But again, this is one that I really, really need to get done, because I think to have this as a completed cross stitch and the quilt would just be so cool. It's stitched completely, entirely in DMC, and I have all my threads on my Beekeeper floss organiser, like a rather colourful jellyfish. So that's another idea if you're stuck for ideas for the social. I've got quite a lot to be getting on with, as you can see. Oh, and I've just thrown the pattern on the floor. I have to grab that afterwards. So yeah, I thought it would be really good fun. Please do join in. Please do use the hashtag. And as I said, there will be just random throughout the year. I'll just choose something that catches my eye. And there will be some prizes. In saying that, I thought to kick off the social, I would offer a little prize today, and I have for you a copy of Lilli Holt's Flea Market quilt book. And as you can see, it's a proper book, quite a few pages in there. It's got the full pattern for the flea market quilt. I'm trying to find some images so that I don't show you any patterns, but that is the quilt. There is a stitch along at the moment from Fat Quarter Shop for the cross stitch pattern, which again will be absolutely perfect. So I think that's going to run through the whole of the year, so that if you just choose one project as your social project, that would take you through the whole year. But also in this book, there's pillows and all sorts of wonderful inspiration from Lilli. So if you would like to enter the giveaway to win this flea market book, please use the word, what shall we have? I've used flea before. Use the word market in your comment below, and I will choose a winner on the next episode in 2 weeks' time. So good luck to all of you that want to enter for that giveaway. Normal rules apply. Please be 18 or over so that I am able to ask you for your address to send your prize to. Please be a subscriber of my channel. Please like the video, and please don't use the word giveaway or winner or any those kind of words. You know the drill in your comment, but do use the word market, and I'll get that on the way to you to celebrate the new Lilli Holt Social 2022. Okay, we are skipping along quite nicely. I was going to have a quick recap of my Christmas stitching as well. I'm going to sort of condense it a bit because some of the projects didn't actually get worked on, and some you have seen fairly recently. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things that I think might be of interest. One is my progress on the cookie exchange, which was a mystery stitch along from Kathy of Hands On Design, and I didn't really get very far with that. It was definitely Peppermint Pals that caught my attention this Christmas. So I did make a small start. I've got all my flossies ready, but the reason I wanted to get it out and show you is because just crossing over to haul a tiny bit, I did see this in my local supermarket, this little rolling pin. As you can see, it's quite small. It's got these lovely, I'm guessing it's for rolling out and getting the impression on your pastry or your dough or whatever, but the lovely reindeers and whatever. It's quite small, and I thought it would be perfect to use as a finishing piece for the cookie exchange. So my plan is to paint the handles of the rolling pin red or green, probably red, and then use it as some sort of hanger, sort of attach some baker's twine here and here, get this on some sort of sticky board or mat board or something, and then have this little cookie piece hanging from the rolling pin. I thought that would be quite a sweet idea. So that's why I wanted to share that one with you. So I'll pop that back in its bag. And again, I saw so many beautiful finishes of that particular project, and some just stunning pieces. So I definitely need to get that one back out. I think this year I'm going to get my Christmas projects out much earlier than I did in 2021. I think I'm going to be getting them out probably about September time to give me a good head start on some Christmas stitching. Okay, I think I'll leave the Christmas projects there for now. I'm just going to show you some haul that I have. I'm just going to check my notes to make sure I'm not missing out on anything that I wanted to share with you. Okay, just before I get to haul, there was something that I wanted to quickly mention. You may remember I stitched the Mary Poppins piece and FFO'd it a couple of months back, and it came up in my top 9 images of 2021 on Instagram. And lovely Lilli Violette, the designer of the chart, Tanya her name, she contacted me and thanked me and offered me a PDF pattern from her collection on Etsy, which was so kind and generous. Thank you, Tanya. I've chosen an absolutely beautiful pattern. I'm going to pop a picture in here featuring the 2 little fawns or deers, and it's absolutely beautiful, and I think it might make a really nice sort of Valentine's stitch. She shows it finished in a heart shape on her Instagram and on her Etsy shop. So thank you, Tanya, for that. That was so kind of you, and entirely my pleasure to stitch and share Mary Poppins. Okay, my haul. Let me just reach across. And another little item. Once you actually start finishing things and you watch finishing videos, you get little ideas, don't you, of things that would look really cute on your finishes. And this is just a completely random thing that came out of a Christmas cracker that we had. And it's this little honey drizzler. It's quite small, as you can see, just fits in the palm of my hand. And I thought this would work really nicely on a finished piece with a bee. I've got some charts with bees in my stash. So I kept hold of that because I thought it would make a really nice little finishing piece. But my main haul, it's not a big haul. I did patiently wait for Christina to release the G is for gingerbread pattern. I printed out the cover for you so that I can show that for you. Definitely not in time for me to get stitched this year, although I know lots of people did manage to get him or her stitched. But it's all ready for next year. I bought the, she gives you a conversion for, I think it's weeks and for DMC. Let me just gather these together. So these are the DMCs there. And I also picked up from Etsy, I don't know if you're going to be able to see these properly, they are tiny. I'm going to try and get them out of the bags. Well, they're in two little tiny bags in here. So let me see if I can show you. I bought one little tiny charm with N for Nicola, and a little tiny charm with J for Justin. And you can see on the chart where she's got the little G on hers. So I'm going to do his and hers gingerbread men for next year, so that we've got a Justin gingerbread and a Nicola gingerbread. So I thought that would be really fun. So I've got that all ready to go away into hibernation until the time for Christmas stitching starts in earnest again. I mentioned on the last episode that I really was obsessed with the Snowball collection of patterns by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. It was out of stock everywhere. I was a bit sad about it, but I thought, oh well, it will come back into stock in the new year. I'm sure I can grab it then. And then Patchwork Rabbit posted on Instagram and said it was back in stock. I happened to be at work, so I was very cheeky and I texted Justin and said, oh, you need to get onto the Patchwork Rabbit and order this for me, because otherwise it will sell out and I won't get it and it will be terrible. So he dutifully did go onto the website and order the booklet for me, which I have here. It arrived before Christmas. I haven't started any of them yet, I'm saving it. But what he also did, and he did so brilliantly, he ordered the flosses for me as well, with no help from me. He ordered the DMC flosses, which are the called for in here. And I was so thrilled when it all arrived. So I just thought I was getting the chart, and he'd ordered the, yeah, as I said, I just said that, didn't I? He'd ordered the flosses. So there are some gorgeous, you've seen these, there's some lovely finishes of these on Instagram. Just again, making sure I don't show you any of the charts, but they are perfect. Is there any more photos that I can show you? Oh, there's this gorgeous one of the gingerbread house inside, and even a little recipe in there. So if you don't have this, I would highly recommend it. It's a lovely pattern book. And finally, you know I can't resist a good monthly part, even though I don't keep up. And when I saw the Nutcracker Village from Country Cottage Needleworks be announced in the autumn of last year, I knew that it was something that I just had to stitch. So here is part 1 of Nutcracker Village. Sorry for the glare. I've subscribed to the Patchwork Rabbits monthly club for this, where you'll get the chart. I think we've got most of the threads already. I ordered the sort of the full fat version with everything. And they also give you some really handy instructions, because whereas with things like Glitter Village and Prim Stitch Series, there's a very clear, you start in one corner and work across in rows. This one actually starts in the centre, so they give you some handy instructions on how to space everything out. I've got the called for 32 count sparkly, which is not, is it sparkling? Let's see if we can get a sparkle going on. The silver sparkle 32 count Zweigart linen, and the called for threads. So they are mostly classic colourworks. I'm just trying to get them to look pretty before I show you, and there are a few DMC. So you can see here threads looking really pretty. So again, I haven't started on this project because I just knew I had so much on my plate and I didn't want to just keep start and feel all pressured. That's not what this is about. So I think I have everything covered. I think my notes are all covered. Once again, a massive thank you to you all for sitting and listening and all your interactions with me. I really do appreciate it. So I will see you all in a couple of weeks, and in the meantime, happy stitching and take care. Bye.